Hi and welcome to page 9. This week we have a special look at GW's basketball season ahead. The men's basketball program has perhaps their most highly anticipated season in recent history. After last year making it to the NCAA tournament, and this year already, experts are picking GW to be one of the top teams in the A10. Here to talk with us about the men's basketball season, the women's basketball season, we're going to cover it all today. Nora Princiotti, the Hatchet Sports Editor. Thank you for being with us, Nora.
Thank you, Jeremy.
So last year, Maurice Creek and Isaiah Armwood, the two powerhouses of the team. How is GW going to make up for that star power, make up for that power on the court this season?
Well, so you sort of referenced two things that they're going to have to step up and fill the holes left by Zeke and Creek, which is one, scoring. The two of them together scored over 26 points per game, which is a huge statistical hole to fill. But then the other thing that you touched on is star power. Everybody sort of remembers Maurice Creek's game winner at the BB&T Classic last year, and finding somebody to really, step up when the game is on the line and be the guy not only who has the skill and talent to take that shot, but really wants to and really has the drive. It's going to be interesting to see who fills that role in the upcoming season.
Mm-hmm.
Mike Lonergan has said that it's going to be Keithan Savage, and he seems really ready to fill that role. He's coming off of an injury, which we wrote about in the basketball guide, and he seems really excited to step up and do it.
So you were just talking about Keithan Savage, the burden that he has, but who overall on the team is going to have the most pressure, the biggest load on their backs?
So if you're talking about, increasing their production from last year or the past years, it's got to be John Capriva. He's a 3-year team captain, but he's never really played more than about 12 minutes per game, and he's going to start this year, which he hasn't done on a consistent basis and didn't do it all last year, and he's going to be filling one of those spots in the front court. He'll be alongside Kevin Larson a lot of the time, but he's going to be making up for the loss of Isaiah Armwood, not all on his own, but Lonergan's asking him to average around 5 points, 4 rebounds a game, or vice versa, 4 points.
And I know he was talking about that he needs to be a threat to kind of help his teammates as well. So it seems as well that there's a lot of pressure on the whole team. I mean, you come from a season like last year and a team like last year that made it to the NCAA tournament, that's got to be a load on all of their backs.
Yeah, so I think it's a lot of pressure, but I think they also enjoy it. I mean, it also comes with a lot of attention and expectations, but everybody wants to be good. Everybody wants to be, a program that's on the map, and after having really gotten GW back on the map this year, it's going to be interesting to see how they, take their next steps, especially with a really tough non-conference schedule this year.
Right, and in terms of the rookies, they're also coming into this, they weren't here last season. If you had to pick one rookie who's really interesting this season and who GW fans should definitely be keeping an eye on, who would it be?
So I would say that it's Yuta Watanabe. He is from Japan. He is one of only 3 native Japanese players to play Division I men's basketball, which is really neat. And he's played prep school ball in the United States, so he's already sort of gotten an adjustment.
And what are his hometown newspapers in Japan calling him?
So he's been called Japan's chosen one.
Wow.
Yeah, it's really exciting.
Talk about pressure. What's the game that GW fans should be turning out to and why?
Okay, so everybody on campus is going to have to bring a date, but the team that's been picked by all of the A10 coaches to win the league, VCU, is coming to the Smith Center on Valentine's Day, and that's going to be a huge game. VCU under Shaka Smart has been just incredibly successful, and they're poised to have one of their deepest teams yet that Smart's had to work with.
It's the team to beat, for sure.
Definitely. Yeah. Absolutely. They were a unanimous pick to finish first in the A10.
Right.
And GW did beat them last year, so it'll be interesting to see if they can repeat.
So we've talked about the men's team. Really interesting season that everybody's going to be watching. Everybody's going to be turning out to the Smith Center for. The women's basketball, also highly anticipated, expected to do really, really well this season. Why is that, and what's the most interesting thing about that team?
Yeah, so another team picked second by the A10 coaches in the preseason poll, and they are going to be dynamic up front. They've got Kyra Washington and Jonquel Jones, who are 2 of the A10's best post players, so they're really going to be a threat inside.
A lot of experience as well.
Yeah, definitely a lot of experience, but then they also have what's been called the A10's best recruiting class.
Right. Well, thank you so much, Nora, for bringing us everything we need to know about the GW basketball season. We've got that and so much more online and in print in our basketball guide. We've got an interactive roster online and so many more interesting and fun facts that you need to know to check out the season ahead. Thank you so much for joining us on page 9, and we'll see you next week.